Welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Madison. I do tarot and oracle readings, and I also implement some astrology as well in my readings. This is the new moon in Leo video. So first I will do notes that have to do with the new moon in Leo, and then we'll do collective pulls based on the stuff that, the research that I did for the notes. And we'll figure out kind of like where our focus should be and what type of rituals we can do and implement during the new moon. All right, new moon in Leo. The new moon will be on August 19th, which is Wednesday, well, early Wednesday, so technically Tuesday night of next week. The Leo moon will trine with Mars in Aries, which will provide us with some energy. If you didn't know already, Mars will be in Aries for basically the rest of 2020, and Mars is in its home sign right now, but it is like impulsiveness, a little bit of arguing, things like that. That's what's going on right now. Be careful about being bossy instead of being a good leader, because being a Leo is about like being a good leader. It's because they are creative, they're driven, and they are very independent. So those will be kind of things that we can sort of embrace during this new moon time. You will have clear vision and inspiration to get things done. So just use that whenever you're leading people rather than being bossy and being like, do this or that or whatever. Like, be more open. Embrace the fact that you might be more accepting of your flaws right now because you will know that you are human but still deserve love. Most outer planets are in retrograde right now, so we will still be reflecting on the past a bit. Embrace the feeling to start something new, because it'll be good for your heart to start a new creative project or something you're really passionate about. Be accepting of criticism from others. This does not mean believe any critical comment about yourself, but do reflect over them. It might hurt, but it'll still help you during this next cycle, So definitely, like, some people internalize a lot of criticism and think that everything someone else says is true, but think of it more of like, it's more of in the middle. Like, if somebody says something very critical of you and you're like, I'm not like that, try to figure out like maybe why they might think that, and don't automatically assume that they're right. Just kind of figure out like, what did I do that made them feel that way? And then you can kind of like start doing the work there to realize like how you might be coming off to people or areas of your life that you're not very conscious of, so you can be more conscious. Be proud of who you are, because confidence is often the key to success. And treat yourself like a king or queen during this time. Being self-aware is highly encouraged. Okay, so some areas of focus right now during the new moon in Leo is going to be about individuality, right? We're more of independence, because Aquarius was more about like being an individual. But this is a little bit more about like being independent, being sure of yourself. Have you ever tried to give a Leo advice unsolicitedly? They usually don't take it, because they have to figure it out for themselves. They have the confidence to be like, you know what, I'm just going to go for it, and if I fail, then I fail, and at least I learned a lesson. They're the type of child that needs to burn their hand on the stove, like you telling them it's hot isn't going to be enough. They have to do it themselves. So a lot of us will kind of have that energy to like go forward and take steps forward with things and get a good start, and that'll be kind of where our focus will be for the new moon in Leo. Okay, so some of the cards I pulled from the Roots and Wings Oracle deck are right here in front of me. So in the center here we have drifting. So I feel like for a lot of people, you're kind of like drifting through life right now. You're drifting through life right now. I feel like because of the pandemic and everything going on, it's kind of hard to like have things secured at this moment. So it's kind of like drifting around and being like, I don't really know exactly what I'm supposed to do at this point. And then over here I have blind and potential. So that kind of tells me that for some of you guys, you might be blind to your own potential. Like, you are just like, you're so worried about the fact that you're drifting along that you're not really having confidence in yourself as a person. Like, you think that even though the pandemic is going on, you're supposed to somehow have it all together. And I mean, you're not alone in that. A lot of people feel this way. But we can't blind ourselves from potential opportunities because we think that things are supposed to come easily, or whatever our conditioning is for what success means. We also have mystery here and strength. So this tells me that sometimes there is strength in not knowing exactly what's going on. Like, you don't need to have all the answers to everything. So it is kind of important for you at this moment to kind of like find the strength in the mystery of life at this point, and start looking for opportunities to grow your potential, things that you're passionate about, things that, creative projects, things like that. And kind of like look for that inner strength to get you through this difficult time, because it's not going to be fixed overnight. Everything that's going on in the United States right now is going to take years of progress and changing and different types of work, you know? So we can't really just like sit around and wait for things to get better, because it's going to be a really long journey. So for a lot of you guys, it is important to figure out what exactly it is that makes you feel passionate and creative, and even if that might not directly be affecting a whole bunch of people, even if it just reached a few people, it would still be beneficial for you to put time and effort into it. Okay, but what I have here is, for my basic Astro Cards deck, I have Aquarius. So this is masculine energy, fixed, and air energy. And what this is telling me is that I think that you might be, because of like being fixed in what you think is supposed to happen for you in your life, I feel like it's like kind of like around like structure, and thinking that structure is like a crucial part of like your success. But I feel like it might be important to kind of like embrace the air part of Aquarius, because they are a fixed sign, but they're also air. So they are able to adapt and move and learn new things. And I feel like it'd be important for you to kind of like go with the flow more, to not miss out on potential opportunities for yourself. So there's that. And then I also have Capricorn, feminine, cardinal, and earth. So this tells me for you that a lot of your strength, like what you're going to be using for whatever it is that you start putting your projects and time into, it's going to be something that like you really need to like kickstart that cardinal energy. And it's something too that I think will be a stable starting point for you. That's not to say that it necessarily means financial, but it could be like a stable, safe place for you. You know, a stable like area to put your focus into, and that'll be important for you during this time. Okay, from my moon deck, we have over here with the Aquarius energy, the rhythm of my breath directs the rhythm of my life. So just like I was saying, right, being a little bit more free-flowing whenever it comes to what we're capable of, you know, allowing our potential to lead us. And then in the center here I free myself from critical thoughts towards my body and my worth. I know a few of us have gained some weight since the pandemic started, so don't get discouraged. I mean, there's also a lot of research and science coming out about like gaining weight. And I feel like it's something that has always been kind of a stigma, but now that there's actually like research going into it and figuring out like where like fatness comes from, I feel like for a lot of people it'll be helpful, because we're not going to keep following the same toxic advice of like starve yourself and exercise to depletion. That's not the way that we care for our bodies, right? So I feel like for a lot of people that's going to be like a big change, and it's okay to accept your body the way it is now, because you won't be able to just like change it tomorrow, and doing unhealthy things to your body will make you relapse. So that's just kind of like a message there for some of you guys. And then over here with Capricorn, we have my emotions move through cycles and connect me to my truth. Okay, so Capricorns, the Capricorn temper tantrum is kind of notorious. I mean, because they are people who like to believe that they don't feel anything, but they actually feel things very deeply. Dealing with the temper tantrum of a Capricorn is dealing with like honestly gaslighting, and it's not that they're purposefully gaslighting you. They gaslight themselves. They're like, I don't care about this. I'm just reacting because of whatever. Like they'll come up with some reason for like why they don't care, but they're still mad. And it's like, you can't not care and be angry. So I feel like for some of you guys, you need to honor your emotions and recognize that they do come in cycles, and it's okay to be sad sometimes. Okay, so we were just talking about creating a stable space for yourself, right, with the Capricorn energy and earth. So I did get over here, practice feng shui, create a sacred space. So it is important for you to have a space that is yours. Sorry about the lighting, guys. I'm going to try to figure that out while I have this new camera and how exactly everything works. So, but it's create a sacred space based on feng shui. So just kind of like put things where they go that feels right to you. I have stop judging and start loving. That includes yourself. There we go. That's what I'm looking for. Okay. So yeah, stop judging and start loving. And then we also have here, ask for help. It doesn't make you weak. It's okay to ask people for help, and don't like worry that they're going to judge you, because if the people in your life judge you for asking for help, then like why are they in your life? You know, like it's not one-sided. No relationship is one-sided. If a relationship is one-sided, the universe ends it. Period. For real. Like if you ever notice that you put in more into a relationship than someone else, and then it ends up ending, no matter what, whether you decide you deserve better and you leave, or they decide that you giving so much is like unhealthy and it makes them feel guilty, so then they break up with you, you know, or stop being friends with you. So it is important to make sure that you have like a give and take with people, and that you're just not the one always doing everything, because that's not healthy. Okay, this is our first batch of tarot cards that I've pulled for this spread so far. But what we have is Six of Swords. That tells me that you've been going on a journey for a while, a long journey here. And it's just kind of a reminder that the time and effort you're putting into it is really worth it. Like, continue doing what it is that you need to do. I mean, you're struggling, but it's to get somewhere. Also, another message to let people help you. If you need help from somebody, do not be afraid to ask. This is new financial stability. So for some of you guys, it's important for you to recognize that you have the power to change your situation. And I think for a lot of you guys, you're going to start getting an idea of how you can actually do that. Yes, you have the World. Don't forget it. Every experience you've had, every negative experience you've had in your life was meant to teach you something, you know, and you learn from it, and all these experiences help you gain wisdom, and with that wisdom you have the world to impact your own life, you know, and to be the decider. I have, for some of you guys, you might be feeling kind of lonely, like you don't have your own little tribe of people, and that's okay, because isolation often brings us to more fulfilling relationships, because if we like our own company, then we're not going to settle for, you know, company that isn't meant for us. I have the Magician reversed, so some of you guys are kind of like not taking the step to manifest things for yourself whenever you deserve it. We also have the Moon reversed here too. So for some of you guys, it's time to put in that effort to kind of like get rid of the limiting beliefs you have for yourself and the negative thought patterns you have for yourself. It's over here with blind, so don't let your negative thoughts about yourself blind you from your opportunities. And then we also have the Tower. That's going to be here with that drifting card, and it's going to be kind of in the middle. So for a lot of us, things are ending, you know, I mean, for everybody, something is ending. Everybody is going through something right now. So also don't feel like you're alone, because it's happening, you know, globally. So don't feel like you're alone with like transitioning and things happening in your life that you have no control over, because definitely we are feeling this as a collective. Okay, I picked a few affirmations from the How to Love Yourself deck here, because I feel like that's what a lot of us need to hear right now, with things being out of control, us not being able to control how our bodies look, things like that. So I'll read you guys these affirmations and just kind of like let them settle with you and see how they pertain to your life. So the first one I have here is, I am precious and I cherish who I am. I am worthy of my own love. I don't have to earn love any more than I have to earn the right to breathe. And that is so true, because we don't need other people to love us in order to deserve love. We can love ourselves. We can put ourselves first. We can do, you know, self-care stuff. We can hang out with ourselves. Like, if you make yourself laugh, then you're in good company, because you're with yourself and you love yourself. So definitely, like, we need to add a little bit more of that in whenever, take advantage of the Leo season. You know, Leos do love themselves. They shine, you know, they don't mind being the center of attention. So definitely like embrace some of that energy right now. I allow myself to accept prosperity. Money is simply energy and an exchange of services. How much I have depends on what I believe I deserve. I know that can be so difficult to hear, because I mean, that's hard for me to hear as well. I grew up in poverty, so it is hard to kind of like let go of that idea of like that I'm meant to always struggle. But sometimes it's just kind of what happens whenever like that's the environment you grew up in. So definitely try to start framing your mind around the idea that money is something that comes and goes. It's energy that flows, you know, and whenever we start like really grasping onto it, we start to see that like we're getting blocked in all kinds of ways. I did hear that there's some stuff online about money blockages and how to like get through it. So if you're somebody who deals with that, then maybe look into it and manifest that for this new moon. I rejoice in my unlimitedness. I am aware that I am pure consciousness. I am one with all life. Okay? So it's important for us to remain conscious in our behaviors. Whenever we start doing things unconsciously, that's whenever we accidentally start hurting people or hurting ourselves, because we're not thinking about what we're doing ahead of time. You know, we're not being mindful. Literally the other day I found myself not being mindful, and it made me anxious, and it made me worried about like, oh, you know, what if somebody overheard me like saying the things I was saying? I was being very rude because my guard was down. And I was just saying whatever came to my mind. I wasn't being conscious or mindful. So it's important to think about that stuff and make sure that everything you are saying out loud is something that you do not mind being overheard, you know? And if you do have these negative thoughts or these like rude thoughts, they're not you, you know? Like, please don't think that just because you have like a rude thought about somebody or a judgment about somebody that makes you a bad person now. I would say it comes from a place of fear. You know, it comes from, you know, worrying about things that you cannot control, like stuff like that. So I feel like if you catch yourself, don't punish yourself. It happens. But just remember, like, I need to be more mindful about the way that I speak about others and to others. I let my light shine. I am wonderful. I rejoice in the truth of my being. I accept it as so and let it be. The full moon is more about acceptance to the divine, letting things that are meant to happen, stuff like that. But we can do that at any point as well, you know? We just kind of like accept and go with life. I mean, like, this is just like how life is now, you know? Like, it sucks. Like, everything that's going on sucks, but it's also like not the first time in history that this has happened, and it probably will happen again. So it's just kind of like, this is just the cards we've been dealt, and this is just the time period we live in. There are also advantages to living in this time period, you know, being able to do this type of work. I mean, I probably at some point would have been drawn to doing this type of spiritual work, but I bet it would have taken a lot longer. And I bet I would have continued to work at jobs that made me feel sick and were not good for me. Because for some of you guys that know, I have multiple chronic illnesses. So doing things like working full-time jobs, I mean, I've done it before. I can technically do it. But you know what that means for me? Bedridden anytime I'm home, you know? Not being able to fit other things into my schedule. Not spending quality time with my fiance or my dog at all. Because when I am home, I'm stuck in bed, you know? Aches, flare-ups, stuff like that. So me continuously getting that message every time that I have worked in those types of environments, you know, my body continuously telling me to stop. This is not meant for you. Stop doing this to yourself. That is what led me to this spiritual work, because I work all day long. Like, I'm recording these videos, I'm doing stuff for my blog, I'm meeting with personal clients, I'm doing a few like psychic jobs where I answer phone calls or talk to people online, something like that. And I am working all day, but I'm so much more fulfilled and I have so much more energy. And then also I'm keeping up with the house. I'm spending time with my dog. When my fiance comes home, he has my sole attention because I didn't spend time and energy commuting somewhere, working for somebody else, dealing with other people's energies, like being in a big building with a bunch of people. You bet I was tired at the end, you know? So it is kind of like accepting where it is that you keep ending up and asking yourself, what is meant for me? What am I not embracing? And then allow yourself to embrace it. Everything I need comes to me in the perfect time. I relax and enjoy life. I know that whatever I need to know is revealed to me in the perfect time and space sequence. That also means not allowing yourself to be blind, right? Because sometimes people spiral out and they think that, you know, good things don't belong to them, you know? And so they kind of like almost sabotage themselves because these lessons are being presented to them and they're rejecting them. So then their life continues to spiral down and spiral out because the universe keeps telling them, stop doing this. What are you doing? Why is your focus here? Your focus should be on self-growth. Your focus should be on, whatever you feel called to do. But for many people, they get so caught up in not getting what they want instead of what they need, So it keeps that spiral going of like nothingness and darkness and all these things that build up inside that can cause panic attacks, anxiety attacks, all these different things because we are trying to present our false self to the world. We're not accepting our inner true self. Okay, we just got a few kawaii tarot cards left here. And then I will let you guys go. Thank you so much for sharing this energy with me. I really appreciate you guys. And yeah, if you're not subscribed yet, subscribe. If any of this stuff is resonating, leave a comment. And please don't forget to like the video if you do like it. But let's get on with these final messages here. So I have 7 of Cups reversed. So that tells me that for a lot of you, you feel limited in your decisions. Like you feel like you don't really have anywhere you can go. And that's with that tarot card and with that drifting card here. So that definitely tells me that like this is like a limited belief about yourself. It's just like, I'm just stuck here. Everything's falling apart. I have no control over anything in my life and I'm just drifting, And you have more control than you think because you can only control yourself. Yes, we cannot control external forces, but they're not always affecting us. Social media can make us believe that it's always affecting us, but if you got off social media, there would be things that happen that day that you don't know about. And a lot of us might feel guilt for that because it's like, oh, this natural disaster is happening somewhere around the world and I'm just hearing about it now. I should be more involved. But it's like, why do you need to be involved? You're not actively a part of what's happening. You're just kind of like addicted to the reaction or emotional reaction of other people's suffering, There is always suffering in the world. There's constant suffering. So we have to pick and choose where our focus goes. If we are the ones who are suffering at that moment, then yes, feel your suffering, process it, understand what's happening, why it happened. Not to say that like you deserved it or anything, but it's just like, why is this happening like collectively? What's going on? And it's okay to put yourself all into it then. But to put all of your energy and like crying over it and worrying about it and staying up late over something that's happening on the other side of the world that does not affect you personally, that's just going to wear you down and wear you out, So for a lot of people who are having spiritual awakenings as well, you do kind of like open yourself up to the human condition, and the human condition is suffering and happiness, So sometimes we do cry for the suffering around the world. And also if you do find yourself crying, just process it, it's okay. I was thinking about a few weeks ago, like child sex trafficking, and it made me just like start crying. But once again, it's not something I can control. So I was able to cry about it, process it, understand that there are people suffering around the world. I can't do anything about it. And then kind of like move on and focus on things you can control, like a creative project, or if you can donate to a cause, donate, like you can do something small that does help, but you're not like putting your whole life and existence and personality and identity around taking care of the world, We have 2 of Wands here, so that tells me that some of you guys might constantly be looking for something else, looking beyond, and in a way that can be good. I see that here with the I rejoice in my unlimitedness. So it's definitely okay to keep your eyes open, look for different things going on. For some of you guys, stay away from people who are know-it-alls. With this King of Swords reversed, these people are very critical and condescending. They talk down to you. A lot of us are dealing with that right now, especially with politics going on, and it's on both sides. It's like somebody has a point of view and they're confusing their opinion with like fact and truth. I've literally had people tell me that I should feel a certain way, like someone who isn't even the same race as me tell me how I should feel about my own race, So it's kind of like, just worry about yourself, So whenever you're dealing with somebody like that, like just kind of like avoid getting into conflicts with them, because for some reason they want to feel self-righteous and that's just their thing. I also have here too that a few of you guys have been a little bit rebellious lately with your family, and I get the feeling that some of you are kind of regretting it. Like maybe you're not on good terms with someone right now. and you think it's because of the way that you were acting. And I mean, it's possible that it could be that, but maybe just take stock and recognize, like, did this person deserve what happened? You know, like, did they deserve to be told something? You know, that's kind of up for you to decide. You know, was I being too harsh? Whatever, that's up to you. So just kind of analyze that, go through that, you know, all that stuff. Here, I want to show you this card again because you couldn't see it earlier because I didn't know the light well yet, but that's that feng shui card. So don't forget to focus on, yeah, things that you can control. And if things in the world do become too overwhelming, just take some rest, take some time. If you cry, you cry. That's okay. You know, but just don't like actively be seeking it. You know, don't like constantly be on social media looking for the next tragedy so that you can feel guilty or whatever. You know, focus on yourself, focus on your internal work. If you can do something small to help somebody else, do it, especially locally. If you can do something to help your neighbor, help your friend, whatever you need to do, it would be a good time to do that. And allow other people to help you as well. Don't forget we had that message multiple times about accepting help from others. Okay, so that's some stuff that we can manifest for the new moon in Leo. I'm very excited. I'm going to do some rituals for myself. Some of the messages that were in here resonated with me too. So yeah, I will see you guys next time. Good luck on your rituals, and yeah, see you around.